Thank you very much for joining me today. If you could start from telling us about who you are, what's your experience,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna go to a little bit more deeper questions about everything else. Okay?
Yeah. So I'm Adam Bromley, the founder of Leeds Nocturnal Esports and Esports Yorkshire. In terms of experience, so I spent basically the past decade working in professional sport in the kind of performance departments. And then just after COVID, I lost a role working in sport. I ended up getting into gaming, but two, that led into me teaching at college. And then that led me to teach at university.
Okay.
I teach lecture at university now. And then obviously building my esports business. I've got quite a diverse background. I've got a personal trainer, a cocktail bartender, ran a business, managed some
You tried
things.
everything.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things we really need people about the business is that I think we focus a lot on sort of the skills of the job rather than transferable skills.
Tell us the short or long story, whichever you want, about how did you started um, building your businesses? Like
Yeah.
where did it come from? Like where was that first
Yeah,
thought?
of course, yeah. So they both have a similar origin, and it's basically a lack of it being there, and lack of support for the industry. But I, like any, I think I was 22 at the time, so I was 22, 24. I wasn't too much older. Well, I was younger, sorry, but I was 22. Basically, just got on Call of Duty with my mates and just spent the whole of COVID pretty much on Call of Duty, getting pretty good at it. Now, I
Okay.
was kind of doing some personal training, so I did I did an online fitness cocktail class, which again another little tangent, but and then towards the end of COVID, I started competing in Call of Duty Warzone
Okay.
because I was good at the game. Having that competitive element of like actually, because there was like a live leaderboard, it was like, all right, if I need to get 2 more points or this there, like it changed how you play the game into more a tactical way. And like, I've come from a sports background. That's what I like. I don't just like just going, oh, this is casual and this is fun. I have to be like competitive in what I do. It's kind of a bit of a fraud, but it can be beneficial at times. After COVID, the job that I had beforehand wasn't open anymore. So I had to look for some employment, and I saw there was a teaching job, teaching health and wellbeing to game or esports at Leeds City College. Started teaching that, and then my sort of goal of what I wanted for like a bit of career, like kind of going, actually, I'm gonna work in sport. When maybe work in esports. So I thought, you know what, it's just do it myself. So on Christmas Eve, 2021, the day before, 2 days before my son was born, I thought, let's start a business. Which
It's
we're still here.
Adam. It's very interesting time to start a business.
But it wasn't really a business at this time. It was more like a gaming club. Like again, it wasn't a business until 2023, I think.
So it took you from the end of 2021 to like what middle 2023 to actually where you swapped from being a hobby to being like a why would you say it was a business?
Because I always wanted it to go somewhere, but at that time I had kind of no direction. I was new to the industry of esports, also trying to find out what the profitable way was. And by keeping it as again, also I was working at the time. I was lecturing, working at a club. I was working at two clubs, lecturing. Just had a child. I was doing something else. So it was like 3 or 4 jobs, like while doing this. So it wasn't like I couldn't put all the time into it really.
So I have so many questions actually.
Yeah.
That's why I started interrupting. And like to be fair, my girlfriend is always telling me that I'm interrupting her, but I always have so many questions. If you can explain in a very simple term, like every entrepreneur is always asked, what the business is exactly helping with.
There's so many people gaming, but it just becomes a isolated task. You're in your bedroom, in your office, just playing by yourself, and it's isolated. And then you're not getting any the benefits are getting lost. So we want to use the already existing player base of gamers and then engage them in activities and development to make it a better space.
Do you know how many people play video games online in Yorkshire?
85% of people between 16 and 24 play video games.
Really?
Yeah. Now,
85%?
this is where 85%, yeah, of 16 to 24. So gamer addiction is actually really low. And a lot of the a lot of the research is around that I've personally read is around it's more of a coping mechanism rather than the cause. You have these socially isolated people that are getting bullied and they go to gaming because that's their escape, which again could be similar to alcohol, but normally it's an underrooting cause that's causing the people to over game. FIFA is gambling. You're buying random packs, you don't know what they are, spending real money to get them. It's a loot box, which is banned in some countries.
There is a lot of games like this, right?
Yeah, that's banned in certain countries because they class it as gambling.
So what is the difference between me going to, let's say, Call of Duty and playing with all of the people who are playing Call of Duty, and I may, know many players because I've been playing that game for a long time. What's the difference between that and spending the time with them this way and what you are trying to do?
You're in a team, so it's like a sports team. We do reviews, analytics. We will give you feedback. We'll have coaching sessions, we'll have training sessions. You'll get your own logo. We have I do all the wellbeing programs, your free gym programs. We do have a psychologist that does a workshop every now and again. And it's all free for them at the moment. They get all these resources, and then you're going to compete in the event. So that's what we're trying to do. And then the in-person one, that's more aimed at a bit younger generations, like the 12 to 16. And that'll be 2 hours of them coming. They'll learn to play the game. Also, we'll teach them online safety. We'll teach them, how to be a positive person in online space. Nice. And empower them to be the ambassadors of gaming. So what you find at the moment is parents will see their kid in their room shouting, going, "Oh, no, like I've lost," and it becomes like a real negative view on gaming. While we say we focus on working with the kids to make sure they understand online safety and they understand how to act online, we need to work with parents as well. Gaming at the moment is like going to the park and finding a man to play games together.
You don't know who you're playing with.
No. So there needs to be organisation. There needs to be structure. If I said, Michael, you're a 12-year-old boy, go and play football, and you go to a random man in the park and go, "Can I play football with you?" Your parents would probably like, "I don't doing that." Yeah. But if you went to a proper coach, proper system, like, that's fine. Everyone's paid.
And you guys gonna provide sort of that environment that will allow those kids to learn about everything and just be protected from going to the park and talking to all their people.
Because with sport, there's a massive physical element of like, it's a lottery. If you're born 6'5", really dense muscle structure, like you're going to be suited to rugby. But if you're born 4'8", weigh 40 pounds, like there's very few sports where you're going to excel in. So then you miss out on that development of this. So, esports doesn't have that. Esports, it's pretty much open to everyone. Like even if you've got a disability, there are adaptive ways to play the game. The parents have a disillusioned view of what gaming can be and what it is. So we want these kids to basically show their parents that this is a positive hobby, just like a sport, just like you do rugby or football, gaming could be the case, as long as it's structured and organised. We're teaching our kids a world we didn't grow up in. So everyone that's like the generation above me didn't have phones for the most of their life. They didn't have social media. They didn't have all these things. And they have to teach their kids how to handle it. So I don't blame parents of that issue. I don't think they're inherently doing the wrong thing. I think that there's lack of resources to help guide them through that.
Coming back to the maybe more commercial side of the business, how are you making money on it? Or how are you planning to make money on it?
Yeah. So that's a good question. Is at the moment we've taken a sports model of like pay players, go tournaments, sponsorships, make money, where basically we get kids on our program, and the colleges will pay us to basically make them more employable through our sort of bespoke program, which goes through their CV, goes through their kind of interview, but also they run their own gaming event. But the more recent focus is we want to get a facility, 10, 20 PCs, start with 10. And basically run a sports club-like mode where parents will pay X amount of money for 4 hours a week of training, and they'll basically be doing coaching, but childcare, also the online safety element of it. The goal with that is to make multiple once one hub's going up, make multiple ones of those, and then we can really create the Esports Yorkshire League and start building that. So the next 10 years, we do have a sort of thriving grassroots gaming scene, and that will support the professional pathway. So when you have like Leeds Nocturnal or a big Yorkshire team, they get talent pool that we've developed the last 10 years ago, right? You're a professional gamer now. A lot of the gamers at the moment have the physical skills. I think they're really good at the game, but you watch them playing, they're cussing people out, they can't work in a team, they're swapping teams every 2 months because they fall out of the team. They've not built the interpersonal skills that are required to be in a high performance situation. Because I always say everyone wants feedback until it's the feedback they don't want.
How important failure is in building the business?
Yeah, as a founder, as a manager, in a business, anyone with power will fail sometimes. And that's
an understatement.
Yeah, but we never taught to fail. We're never allowed to fail. Like it's seen as a bad thing, and it should be celebrated. It should be like, yeah, you failed, let's go again. But like, it should be like that can happen. Nothing's 100%. So I think when our place works, if they run an event and it doesn't work, then great. You can write about what went wrong, but also write about what went right, and understand when you go to your next event. If that's what we're going to go into, you know how to fix that. I think it's inevitable. Do I think you need to fail? No, but you need to understand why you didn't. Failure is just an easy way to force you to be analytical. Because why did we fail? We need to fix that. But if you see a lot of people, and I've seen it before in every industry, there are some people that get lucky. They have the right opportunity, right time, right there. They've still done loads of hard work, but the reason they got successful was hard work plus this luck.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that, and they try to sell that model to someone else.
I think that's one of the things that investors are looking for. That's it's timing, right?
Yeah. Is that it?
It's a good timing, because that's what really lucky is to have good timing for your product on the market, and the second part is to have that product actually and people behind it.
So yeah, that's my thing. Failure's not essential, but being aware of why you don't fail is. That's what I'm saying.
Coming back to your founder journey, how would you describe how was it so far?
So yeah, I think chaotic growth. But it has led to a lot of opportunities. So I think that's one of the big ones.
I feel like a lot of founders doesn't appreciate how long they went through, and like what they went through and how far they are. And I don't think it's only the founders. I think the people in general, actually, they don't appreciate how far they've gone,
Yeah.
Like the founder journey is obviously super bumpy, as you said. It's chaotic. It's like ups and downs all the time, right? But you learn a lot from it. And you have those new opportunities that are opening, because you talk to people. You have to talk to people to make that business up and running. So how do you see that esports looking like in Yorkshire in 10 years, or maybe in UK in 10 years?
Well, that's the thing. So if depends on how well we do, it depends on what the UK looks like, or especially the England looks like, because we want to be a model of this is how you build regional esports. What I see in the next 10 years is that we have multiple gaming teams that are not just there, but actually financially sustainable. That's an important one. There are plenty of countries that have created a model of we've got X amount of clubs, but they're all volunteers. There needs to be a business mindset around it. It's not a hobby, it's a job. You can't rely on volunteers.
Yeah.
So have a thriving system which has standards of safeguarding, of coaching practice, and has their own leagues in multiple titles, and is a place where people want to come to play sports, and people will travel or move to Yorkshire, because that's where esports is. And if that's not the case, then the only reason that we don't want that to be the case is that we've then opened esports Lancashire, esports Midlands, and everywhere in the UK or in England is where you.
What was the most difficult time or point in your whole journey so far?
It's turning down offers of a lot more money to do a lot less to continue doing this. Wow. That's one of the biggest challenges. Okay. So if I wanted an easy life, there is jobs there's jobs on the table that I can get. This is an easy life, less stress, less this. And then kind of the next one is that kind of thing, is what is the path we take. So business at one point was that we had 50 different doors we go down to. It's the founder's curse of having too many sort of options. But we didn't. It's which one to go down to. Which route is the route we go down? The one we want to do. One has the ability to create revenue, but also ability to create other revenue. So what I've been doing over the last couple of years is really refining what we do. And yes, we are quite a broad business in terms of what we can do. But what is the fundamental of that? And I said before, that's engaging people to enrich and elevate communities. That's the simple thing what we do.
So what are the next steps then? How do you see the next,
So I'm just at the moment in talks with people trying to find out how much it's going to cost me to set this first facility up. So at the moment it's pricing that out and then looking at the revenue way, because it's not the benefit of it is not ridiculously expensive. Mm-hmm. I haven't got an exact figure, but it's not in the hundreds of thousands. It's in the at most tens. It's not unrealistic to find that money through grants, programs, even a business loan it's there. So that gives some light to it, and then kind of start building it, really, start getting the facility.
So how much really money you will need to to put all of that up?
At the moment, I think I'm looking at around 15,000-20,000 roughly. I think it'll be closer to 15. The big things is how much the rent of the facility. Yeah, that plays a massive part into it, and then just kind of I believe I can get the equipment for around 10,000, 12,000. I don't think I want to come in. It's just a desktop PC that runs at 4 frames per second. Like, it needs to be at least good enough for what they've got at home or better. But the marketing side, of getting it out there, like getting that side, and then the rent, that's probably one that I'm doing the research on now.
What's your motivation in life? Why do you get up in the morning every day and do what you do? Hustling, building business, living your life.
I think anyone that's got I hope everyone's got a family and kids, make sure that their priority is a big one. But from a personal level, it's always been growth. Like, I always want to, it's why I like games, like, because in a game, I can see myself get a rank, I can see myself get better at the game. And it's why games can be dangerous at times, because you get your validation from, a game, not real life. I like, literally, my favorite part is picking up new hobbies and learning things. I pick things up pretty quickly, so I like learning. What have I learned in this day? How have I got better at something? And it's why I like measurables. So yeah, I think that's the two things. Obviously, make sure families proud. Like, what should Dad do? Well, he's been to Ghana and worked there. He's run his own business. He's worked this club there. He's had this experience. Like, I want to be that crazy, that non-believing kid that they think my son and daughter is absolutely lying about everything. So that, like, it's a nice little mini incentive that, like, what can I do that makes them be like, oh, that's really interesting about that kind of their dad, not just a boring office and kind of know what he does. Like,
Adam, thank you very much for joining me today.
No, I appreciate it.
I think you definitely have something over there that will help a lot of people. Well, I hope for it, at least. Because I feel like nowadays we do need businesses that are actually community first, and like helping people with their well-being, helping people with how they spend time, finding them things to do, as a lot of young people, and as well older, doesn't really know what to do with their lives, and they are unhappy because of that. So thank you for trying to pushing that forward and building that, and I hope that in that 5-10 years you will be in the whole UK, not only in Yorkshire. Just aim high, don't close yourself just in.
I've never that's one of the issues I've never had, is aiming too low.
I think it's the thing of every entrepreneur, to be fair. So